you.
Hey everybody, here again, another one. They've been checking out when villains try to warn you. So, interesting. Is this like gonna be related to like their whole like villain monologues or something like that? I actually don't know. But hey, let's go ahead and get into this. It should be interesting.
Not every villain's speech is nonsense. Sometimes they make more sense than you realize. Here are 8 times the villain tried to warn you. Starting with Miguel O'Hara from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
There's a world out there with no Spider-Man to protect them because it bit you instead.
But that's not his fault though.
Right off the bat,
like even if the spider got to a different world than the one that was originally supposed to be there, that's not his fault. Now, granted, Miles was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing in that subway when he was spray painting with his uncle, but still, that has the spider being there has nothing to do with him. Be mad at the scientist that and even then, it could have been anybody if it didn't bite on Miles. Like if it did bite Miles, it could have been someone that's like infinitely worse than than who this would have been. And also, the reason this Peter died was like way beyond just canon like breaking or something. Nah, Kingpin smashed that man's cranium.
Miguel gives major bully vibes, but Miguel isn't mad for the sake of it, with his meltdown based on a specific
like you understand why he has the logic he has, but at the same time it's like you're basing all this stuff off of your thing.
Rubble during a battle with an arch nemesis.
Which basically translates to Miles.
Really, the whole movie is kind of
confusing
because yeah, it's like kind of confusing as to why all y'all experience the exact same thing.
Because some algorithm says that that's supposed to happen.
Duh.
Yeah.
At this stage, Miguel seems less like a protector and more like someone who desperately needs a therapist. But this impression changes
he needs
when we
both.
find out why
Really?
he's so obsessed with the canon. Miguel once broke the canon himself when he stepped into another version
Yeah,
of
but
his
that's
life
like
in a
the
different
massive
universe.
extreme.
He wanted a family
Do we
and
know
happiness
can happen
so
again?
bad that he decided to stay there. But that led to the erasure of that entire universe, including his daughter. So
Yeah, but we also have to take into account the fact that do we know it was just because of that? Like, let's not forget the other Spider-Man when they were in Miles' world, they wouldn't have erased the timeline by being there, if that makes sense. They were gonna die themselves, but they wouldn't have like made the universe collapse in on itself. At least I don't think it would have, because I can't remember. Yeah, I can't. No, they wouldn't have, because they just needed to take out the collider. But they would have just died if had it been that they didn't get back. So this whole thing really is just confusing, and we don't really know. He doesn't know the extent of it. He just knows what can happen if certain circumstances do occur. So you understand why he's this way, but at the same time, it's like we don't really understand fully how this works. It may be the fact that y'all all just happen to lose someone is really just a crazy coincidence. I could be wrong, because even then, I think people are still a little bit confused, or maybe they understand this completely. I don't know, because Gwen's fate's changed. So now it's like, but you know what'd be crazy? What if like her dad stopped being a cop, right? What if someone else random became the cop? Then she became close with that cop, and then that cop has to die because he took the place of what her father was supposed to do. That's what have actually been like terrible timing.
And the film eventually proves him right.
There's no Spider-Man.
Like he wasn't all the
Towards
way
end of
wrong, but at the
film,
same time, we
Miles
don't know how
discovers
wrong
that
he really
truly
was.
is an anomaly. When a spider from another universe bit him, it left that world without Spider-Man. As a result, there's
Which
anarchy
granted should
everywhere,
not-
and no one around to.
Which granted should not have been the only reason New York was as bad as it was. Now, granted, New York has always been bad in their universe, but at the same time, it's like where are the other their version of like the Avengers or something? Or this could be a world that doesn't have them, or they just aren't there. Like there's other people in New York that aren't just Peter. Like where are the Defenders? Where is the Baxter Building? All these other things, but I don't know.
fix it.
Like, there are
Therefore,
more street tier
Miguel
people
wasn't
out there than
making
just
things up.
Peter.
In his own
Or
twisted
whoever
way,
would be the
he
variant
was
in that
trying to do
universe.
what he believed was the right thing. But Pitch Black from Rise of the Guardians
Really?
had no good intentions
Tried
from
to
the start.
warn you.
I'd say sweet dreams, but there aren't any left.
Pitch is literally every child's worst nightmare come to life. He's the personification of fear, which gives him a unique strength. He
Cool.
knows he can't defeat the Guardians in a direct fight, so instead of fighting them physically, Pitch attacks the operating system they all
Who's
run
after
on.
their street cred.
They
Literally.
don't believe in me anymore.
Belief is the Guardians' greatest strength, but Pitch realizes it's also their biggest weakness. So when the Guardians try to recruit Jack Frost, he warns him.
If enough kids stop believing, everything your friends protect, wonder, hopes, and dreams, it all goes away.
And that's exactly what happens. Pitch Black steals the Tooth Fairy so they
Eh,
can't
too
collect
literal
teeth,
for me.
and even sends his nightmares to ruin Easter. In doing so, he stops kids
Like,
from
he pretty
having
much
faith
just
in
stated the
Guardians and
stakes of
all
the
that they
movie,
represent
I
about
feel
hope
like.
and wonder. Therefore, Pitch targets the Guardian's source of power without ever getting into a physical brawl. But this strategy only works for so long, because ironically, the exact rule he explains
goat.
to Jack also applies to him.
I am the boogeyman, and you will fear me.
Like, I can see why
This
he's
leads to
hurting,
one of
because
the
that's a
most
terrible
poetic
life to
reversals
live.
in the whole film.
Yeah, like, this... Did he die, or did he just get dragged back to where he
Creations begin feeding on
was?
his fear of being forgotten, making the boogeyman the ultimate victim. Throughout the film, Pitch Black warned everyone that belief can fade overnight. Meanwhile,
Yeah, but they already know
Lotso
that,
from
though,
Toy
I feel
Story
like.
3 felt the same way
Seriously?
about affection.
Prisoners disabled, Commander Lotso.
Within seconds, his strawberry smell turns into the scent of dictatorship. This shift in his
He
nature
loves
isn't
to-
random, though.
he
It
loves
all
to talk
goes
about
back to his
Lotso a
past,
lot in
where
these,
he
I've
once
noticed.
belonged to a little girl named Daisy. The two were inseparable until she accidentally left him behind during a trip. Lotso fought long and hard to
Bro, little kid, did any of y'all watch Toy Story? And it had y'all feeling guilty as to when y'all left y'all stuff behind? Like, for real. I can imagine if you were a kid by the around when these movies happened, or like if you were a kid and saw them, you would have instantly felt bad for any toy that you either forgot, lost, treated badly. Like, you really would have felt like, dang, I suck after watching
return to
these.
Daisy, expecting a joy-filled reunion.
Like, I didn't realize I have to be a caretaker for
then,
these daggone
It was
toys.
too late.
Maybe if y'all would have told me I was alive, I would have done better.
And instead of processing his heartbreak like a reasonable plushie, he decides to enforce his new
Do
philosophy
they
on
ever
other
explain
toys
why
at
they
Sunnyside.
don't get
We're
the
all
chance
just
to say
trash, waiting to be thrown
they
away.
can move?
No, he's got a point.
Most of us
Like, I
end
get
up
it's for the
donating,
illusion
abandoning,
of,
or
like-
packing away our childhood toys. In the film,
Oh,
even
and oh,
Andy
turns out your
plans
toys
on
can
storing
actually
the
move the whole
toys in
time. They
attic.
just don't when
so
you're around.
Lotso's
Like, I get
warnings
that's
don't
the
just
joke.
come from a place of
But, like,
paranoia.
is there a reason
There's
they
actual
have to
truth
do
to
it?
them. But what Lotso doesn't understand is that there's a fine line between grief and cruelty.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
Yeah, actually attempted murder.
And to think, he betrays the toys again right after they help him. Unbelievable. At one point, Lotso may have been soft and sweet, but over time, he becomes a brutal villain with no redeeming qualities, much like Syndrome from The Incredibles.
You sly dog. You got me
I'll
monologuing.
never. I can't forget what he's done. I just
This
can't.
clip alone tells
It's
you
so stupid.
everything about Syndrome. He's theatrical and completely ruthless, especially
stupid.
when it comes to Mr. Incredible. But before becoming Syndrome, he was just Buddy, a kid genius who created rocket boots
And kept
dreamed
doing
of
too
being
much.
a superhero himself.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Hurt by the rejection, Syndrome hatches a plan to get revenge, even committing
Revenge for
superhero
what?
genocide in the process. And along
There's no revenge to get. This man said, and this all he did was say, "I work alone." You did, like, that should not have hurt you that much. And also, you don't have to prove it to him. But then again, how old was he when that happened? Like, that's also another thing, because either this man really had like a mental thing going on in his head to where he just can't accept rejection. Like that one dude from Megamind, Titan. This man got rejected once and just decided, oh, okay, I'm gonna murder this entire town, pretty much. Like, come on now. It makes no sense.
Along the way, he ends up saying his most iconic line.
And when everyone's super.
Also, jawline of doom.
No one will be.
Now, it's important to clarify that this
He
line
spent how
doesn't
many years
condone
doing
all the
this?
evil Syndrome has done. He doesn't do what he does for a noble cause, but rather it's out
No.
of pure spite and villainy. But his
It's been
warning
held on
about
to hatred
superheroes
for
being
more
an
than a
elite
decade.
group rings true. They possess abilities that make them stronger and more influential than the average human. Clearly, there's an imbalance in the system, and Syndrome sees
Yeah, but
that.
they didn't
He
choose
wants to
that.
sell
They
his
just got
superhero
randomly
gadgets to the
shot up
masses
with
to
stuff.
even the playing field.
Not shot up,
However,
but like, did they
any good in
explain any of the
Syndrome's
origin
beliefs
stories?
goes down the drain the minute he
Or
justifies
at this point, is it
murder
just
for
assumed
it.
that
And
they
the
got all
irony
these,
is that Syndrome bashes
genetically?
superhero worship, but desperately craves it for himself. So, the universe decides to humble him immediately.
Yes. It literally took only like a minute of having his glory and then to get it stripped away instantly.
Ah, how satisfying to watch him be whacked around by his own invention. Syndrome's petty nature and ego, therefore, prove to be his downfall. Unlike Chef Skinner from Ratatouille, whose downfall comes.
You know what? Looking back at it, he was right for tweaking the way that he was. Now, was he wrong for trying to, how do I say this? He found out old dude was the owner's son, so he's rightfully entitled to the restaurant. Was he mad about, was he wrong for trying to like eradicate that information? Yes, he was. But the fact is, a rat in the kitchen, not just that, multiple rats, that's just like, come on now. In the real world, like I get it in the movie, anyone can cook. A rat being in there, in their world, apparently doesn't have all the health problem. But in the real world, come on. You're dying if you go in there because that you ain't making it out alive because you're gonna get too many diseases. But in their world, it's like, come on now. And also, he doesn't get the context. In his point of view, he's just seeing rats in a kitchen. Even if it's just one rat, that's enough to get y'all out of there. Really.
Comes in the form of a rat.
One can get too familiar with vegetables, you know.
I'm pretty sure that joke flew over most of our heads as children. Skinner is the interim head
Absurd.
of Cousteau's restaurant. His vision is to exploit the late chef's legacy and mass-produce frozen food for profit.
Oh, yeah, he
in the
did
film,
do that.
He gets to inherit the late Auguste Cousteau's empire, but only if no surprise heirs appear to ruin his day.
I mean, low key, Linguini,
Not only does this
Linguini is in no way qualified to do this, but at the same time, it's like, come on.
But he also happens to be Cousteau's biological son. Linguini's life turns upside down. As
Really?
he
I
goes
just feel
from
like you just need to
garbage
teach
boy
him how to
chef
cook.
owner of Cousteau's in a matter of weeks. Meanwhile,
Like,
Skinner
really,
goes
anyone
from
can cook. You just
temporary
gotta
king to
teach yourself.
unemployed
You gotta
because of
find ways to
one
figure it out a
headline.
little bit.
But
Not
here
figure
is
it out,
where
but
the
just
plot
learn.
thickens. Linguini isn't actually the one cooking. The
It's
real
Remy.
genius behind the stove is Remy, a literal rat pulling human hair like a puppeteer. And for some reason, Linguini never thinks to question this dynamic. Skinner,
Low-key,
however,
yeah.
actually
Like, you
has
need to
a
be checked
rational
out, like,
response
physically to see.
seeing Remy.
Would that work on anybody or just him? Because if it was just him, you gotta go to a doctor to get your nervous system checked out.
Precisely! In any real-world restaurant, a rat in the kitchen is a
Yes.
health code violation, not a charming underdog story. Skinner warns
Great
his
movie,
staff that
though,
if the
but, like,
truth about a rat
be
comes
real,
out,
this
the
ain't gonna
restaurant
fly in
is
real life.
finished. Which is exactly what happens in the end. But who knew Skinner would have a hand in making that happen?
I wish to report a rat infestation.
For all his greed and pettiness, he wasn't wrong about the risk of having a rat in the restaurant. But while Chef Skinner wanted to eliminate rats from his kitchen, Evelyn Dever from Incredibles 2
Really?
wanted superheroes banned from existence.
Superheroes keep us weak.
Now, Evelyn might not be the best villain out there,
I
but
got
I
her
blame that
reasoning
on
in the
poor
movie,
writing
but at
and
the same time, it's like
execution.
she
Her
didn't know
twist reveal is
why
about
they
as
didn't
subtle
show
as
up.
naming your villain Evil Endeavor and hoping nobody knows.
And really, the people that he called, who did he call? He called Gazerbeam and someone else. But I don't think either of them could have been fast enough to get to your house within a time frame of them breaking in to just shoot you. You get what I'm saying? So really, yeah, the dad was too prideful, and that's why he did die. But at the same time, even if they were alive when they got called, they wouldn't have been fast enough to get there in time. You would have been much better off having called the cops. Or better yet, why not have those phones in the bunker that y'all would have hidden? Now get what I'm saying? Like, why have a bunker with no means of calling emergency services? There should be one call. There should be the phone right in your room and a phone downstairs as well, and then you'd be straight.
Notices. But if you ignore that and actually listen to what she says, her motive is pretty solid.
And again, they were dead when you made the phone call. But at the same time, it's like you would have been much better off having just gone to the bunker.
Disguised as the screenslaver, Evelyn argues that the more society relies on superheroes to solve every crisis, the less capable ordinary people become. In this case, she's talking about situations that don't necessarily need superhero intervention. And her backstory is the perfect example.
So this is some like Sokovia Accords situation?
Pointlessly. Stupidly.
He
waiting
did.
for heroes to save the day.
When robbers broke into her house, her father could have used the safe room like the rest of the family, but instead, he tried to contact superheroes as if dialing a hotline was safer than acting immediately. This mistake
like they were
became
right
his
there.
undoing.
Also,
However,
they would have heard
the way
you call
she
them.
executes her plans is where everything goes south. Instead of helping her brother legalize superheroes just to make
Now,
them legal
who the
again,
heck broke into your house
could
just
have
to
just
shoot you
tried to
immediately? I
foil
don't
his
know.
plans on
Like,
the
what
inside
ops
from
do
the
you
start.
have?
In the end, she was just stubborn about her way being the only right way.
The fact that you saved me doesn't make you right.
Evelyn would rather fall to her death than be rescued
Yeah,
by a
like what?
superhero. Talk about ungrateful. For most of the film, Evelyn Dever was perfectly content working on her master
Like, she
plan
has a
from the
point,
shadows,
but at the same
much
time,
like
it's like,
Stinky Pete from
you're
Toy
taking
Story
this
2.
super.
Look, I'm doing the box step.
You know what? He did
Like
foreshadow the
Lotso,
heck out of
this
Woody's
toy
life in that
seems
one
sweet and
scene.
harmless at first. With his grandfather-like nature, he offers advice and leads the group in making decisions. But Stinky Pete only plays nice.
Didn't he
when
say
things
something like,
go
"Will Andy
his
take you to
way."
college?"
The minute Woody
Which
decides
Andy
he would
actually was
rather
gonna do, which
return
was
to
hilarious.
Andy than live forever in a museum, Pete shows his true colors.
I tried reasoning with you, Woody.
Now, what
You
the heck
keep
that
forcing
pickaxe
me
is
to
made
take
out of, I don't know.
measures.
Actually, you know what? He is
Stinky
an
Pete
old
turns out to
toy.
be
That
a
thing might
bully
actually be
with
made
no
of real
regard
metal.
for anyone but himself. But there's a reason for his bitterness.
I'll tell you what's not fair. Spending a lifetime on a dime store shelf watching every other toy be sold.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Dang.
At his core, Pete is vindictive because of a lifetime of
Haymaker of
solitude.
Doom.
Unlike other toys, he never knew the joy of feeling loved and appreciated. After a lifetime of being alone, Stinky Pete doesn't want a child to play
Also,
with him.
never
He would
outside of
rather
that
be
daggone
displayed in a
box.
museum as part of a prestigious toy
At least,
collection.
assumingly
All he
so.
wants is to be admired, which is something he never got to experience his whole life. From his perspective, Woody is being reckless, since choosing a child means choosing eventual loss.
Idiots! Children destroy toys! You'll all be ruined! Forgotten! Spending eternity rotting in some landfill!
The sequel validates
Okay, yeah.
everything he said. So
Like I
although
said, he
was a
foreshadowed
bitter
the
old
heck
coot
out
and
of
a
the
master
second movie,
manipulator,
not the
Stinky
second, the
Pete
third
was
movie.
right about many things, but his warnings pale in comparison to those from the ultimate.
You have 8 lives. Just died stupidly, all of them. No, you had 9 lives and died stupidly for all 8 of them. I told you what was gonna happen. You knew what was coming. And you just wasted them. Now, granted, if someone had a life glitch, at max 3 of those lives would have been dying stupidly. I feel like the average human, had they had 9 lives, at least 3 of them would have been dying doing something dumb. But after 3, it's like, okay, I can stop. Like, I'll just live, and if I die, it has to be by either someone slamming me out or me dying in an accident of some kind. Or by old age. I don't know.
Force. The inevitable being shows up with no warning and begins to
Like,
fight
he should have just
Puss in
came
Boots.
after the 9th
You
one.
can
He's like, I'm not gonna
literally
let you get the
see
chance to
confidence
waste it.
leak out of Puss like air from a punctured balloon. For the first time in 8 lives, he feels real, chilling fear. At first, Puss just thinks he's fighting against an extremely skilled bounty hunter. Until death
And granted,
reveals
the
who
fact that he wanted
truly
smoke
is
immediately
with a
when he was
warning.
next to him was still like, come on, bro.
Straight up
And I've come for you, Puss in Boots.
From this moment on, the villain follows Puss wherever he goes. Being on his last
him
life,
down the whole
Puss
movie.
finally understands that
Freddy.
he isn't invincible.
Bro's bring up Jason
so he
Voorhees
panics
numbers.
and sets out to find the wishing star to get back the lives he so frivolously wasted away. But death doesn't make empty threats. Everywhere Puss goes, death appears as a reminder of his imminent doom.
Yes.
This eventually leads to Puss having a panic attack from the fear of losing his one last life. Somewhere along the way, though, our feline hero changes. With the help of his friends, he realizes
he just lets
one
him
life
go,
can
like,
still be
you know what, enjoy this
meaningful when
last
lived
one.
right. So the next time death comes for
This
Puss,
is gonna have to come back
he
eventually.
stops running.
I know I can never defeat you, Lobo, but I will never stop fighting for this life.
The moment Puss stops treating life like it's disposable, death decides to let him go. It isn't just a warning to Puss, but also to the audience. Death is coming, straight up. And the only real choice is what we do with the lives we have before the whistle
explained the
starts,
whole plot of the
making
movie.
this one of the most impactful warnings from a villain.
Hey, you know what? Have to get it back in blood. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would be mad. Because it's like people for some reason want more than one life. Why they'd want that, I don't know. Like I said this before, if you want immortality, you truly you fear death. Now granted, we don't all really want to, how do I say this? We don't really want to just die right now, like we want to live. But at the same time, it's like, if you want immortality, you are so scared of death that you don't want, I don't know. Like, why would you want to live forever? On Earth, mind you. Like, I'm not talking about in heaven, no, on Earth. Why would you want to live forever here? We know this place sucks. And you want to stay here for more than the time that you have on here? No! But anyways, man, that's a slight side tangent. Hope you have a good day, and God bless.
Yeah, boy.